Hello and welcome to an episode of AVR Gaming. My name is Jacob and today I'm going to be doing part 2 as an update video to my Kojimachi Garden Tower build. So if you haven't seen my previous video, I do recommend checking that out for some context, but to sum up, I've been working on a Tokyo-inspired city in my Minecraft world here for a number of years, and I've been documenting it for you guys on YouTube, and in my last video I decided to talk in depth about my process of how I convert a building idea, say from a building that I see on Google Earth or a real building in the real world, into something in Minecraft. I was going through this building, it was half built at that point, and I talked you all the way through my sort of process of how I started it and where I'm taking that build from there. And today I'm basically just showing off to you guys the final product. I'm just going to double check I actually pronounced that right, because I never remember exactly, but yeah, Kojimachi Garden Tower, and there you see 23rd of April is approximately around the time I filmed that last video, so it's been a little while. I've worked on a number of other things, not just this building since then, and what I'm going to do is after this I'm probably going to film a general update video for my whole city for you guys. But first, I wanted to show you the whole building. As you can see now, it's not just an empty shell, there are floors running all the way through it, and it's pretty much all furnished as well. Yeah, it was a big project, but it came together really nicely. This is a very dynamic building in this city because it's based on a real building. For the most part, it's pretty damn accurate, aside from some stuff that I messed up pretty bad, which I talk about in my previous video on the with the amount of windows in some areas where we're kind of facing now. But that doesn't matter because it's still a really cool looking building, I think, and came together nicely. So for the purposes of this showcase, I am using some BLS shaders just to show you guys particularly the exterior of the building. But when we actually delve to the inside, I think I might turn those off. I'm not a big fan of shaders when it comes to building interiors all that much. At least not the ones I've currently got installed on my system. It's got this sort of nice 1970s boxy skyscraper vibe to it. Even though this building is actually really new. It was built in like 2019, I think, in Tokyo. So it's, yeah, very, very new. And over here, this area, I was actually pondering what to do with it for quite a while. And I'm really happy with the result here. I put this kind of flowing garden bed that kind of flows down with this little pathway where you can have a little area up here that you can go up. The reason I did this was the real building in the real world is actually built on an incline. So this section is built on an area that's much lower than the back of the building up there. So this building in my Minecraft world differs quite a bit because the back of the building here, well, I say the back of the building, it's kind of relative, but this side of the building here actually is on the same plane as the other side of the building, whereas in real life this would be much higher up. Hence why there's this on the side here, because the inside of the building actually kind of has bits of architecture that mirror the incline. So if we actually fly in, and I'm gonna go into the interior in more depth later on, but just to quickly show you guys, you can see there's this sort of raised section here that goes up and up and up until there's a little platform up there. The real building actually has that inside it, and I had to put something on the side here to actually make that make sense in terms of this Minecraft world. Actually, just hold on, guys. I don't know why this glass type is different here. That was a bit weird. But yeah, there's always going to be little nitpicky bits that you always pick out later when you are exploring some of your builds, even if they are finished, I always notice. But anyway, we'll go to the inside of the building later. While I've got the shaders loaded up, let's take a good look at the exterior. So one thing I'm really happy with this building is the way I made these windows, because these windows are pretty much in proportion to the windows of the real building, and they're divided by using different colors of glass. And since I have the Optifine mod loaded in, which I'm really picky about not using custom texture packs or anything like that or weird mods. I like to keep the game very vanilla. But I will concede that the Optifine mod, which I only installed to actually allow shaders in just so I can make my videos a little prettier for you guys from time to time. When I actually loaded it in, I found that it actually altered the texture of glass. So instead of having it always divided into individual block squares, even with the same color glass, it actually creates like a solid, smooth color of glass if using one color. But that way, I was actually able to manipulate it by using blue and cyan glass and creating this cool effect that it looks like different panes of glass to replicate the actual shape of the glass of the real building. That effect turned out really nice, and unfortunately it does require a mod, which kind of annoys me because, like I said, I like to be really vanilla with the way I approach Minecraft, because I'm really not a huge fan of people who overuse texture packs and all mods and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that it has its place. It's just it really stops being Minecraft at some point. It becomes kind of different, and like there's some YouTubers out there who create really brilliant cities, but they rely so heavily on custom texture packs and stuff that it yeah, just doesn't feel very Minecraft to me. So I kind of prefer this approach. But as you can see, we're circling around the whole building now. It's all filled with mainly office type buildings, office type floors. So you can kind of peek in from the sides. These interiors take forever. They're very, very time consuming. And I tried to make a number of unique floors, maybe like 3 or so, and then I kind of mixed them together and copied and pasted them up the building and tried to make them as unique as possible and have the order a little bit chaotic. So it doesn't look super uniform from the outside, like it's just copied and pasted. Although, you know, to a degree it definitely is, because there's no way I'm going to individually furnish this whole building floor by floor. Furnishing anything in Minecraft is very time consuming, I find. Down here we have this kind of big open area where you'd have people come into this I don't know, vestibule or whatever you call it. So this is kind of the main entrance to the building on this side, just this big open area. This is actually based off, from what I could gather, the real building looked like, except for the real building, of course, wasn't this low down like I was saying it would be. This area would have started higher up. And then we come to the first section of floors here. These two floors here, for whatever reason, they're a little bit higher ceiling than the rest of the build, so I decided to furnish them uniquely with their own interiors, and I made them like library type archives. So sort of like a library study area with lots of public computers and lots of stuff like that. I think the real tower is like a real estate company runs it or something like that. But yeah, I pretty much just put offices in the rest of the building. So if we come up here, there's a little bit of a storage room that they're starting to fill up, some filing cabinets up the back there. Lots and lots of offices. And you'll notice that a few places, and again we'll go inside the building later to show this off, have these little areas in here with stairs. Those aren't all throughout the building, because I found on the plans for the building there were optional sections of flooring throughout the main rooms of the building where stairways were permitted between the floors, aside from the actual main stairways that run throughout the core of the building. As we go up the building, we get to this section at the very top. We find a last floor, and where we start to get to all of this stuff, which is big HVAC units and all that stuff that you'd find on top of the building. And this I had a lot of fun with, trying to make it as accurate as I could to the real building. And of course the only real reference I had was the Google Earth model of the building and the photos of that I could look at. But I think I replicated it pretty well, all things considered. And of course, considering I did actually mess up with kind of the geometry of the building a little bit, which I brought up in my previous video. But regardless, it turned out really, really cool, and I think it looks really accurate and realistic. In particular, this roof has these cool sort of ramps that go up in a few places. Sorry about the slightly choppy video, by the way. It's a little laggy, especially since I'm using shaders. But yeah, this is a good representation of a realistic skyscraper roof. I of course had to simplify a lot of things and just kind of, Minecraft it up a little bit, because there was very little detail that I could make out from the Google Earth stuff, but I just kind of want to show you this cool little entrance here. We can actually go into the interior of the building, main hallway, some of these computer areas. You know what? It doesn't look too bad with shaders, in all honesty. There's just something with the lighting that I find is a little too harsh for interiors when I use shaders, but for the moment it doesn't look too bad. I found that bone blocks work really good for these little HVAC units here. So round circle that's on the bone blocks, hopefully you can see it. It's actually really washed out with this shader pack compared to how it is in vanilla Minecraft. But the round circles, they look really good as like the actual fans that would be in these. And of course you've got these bigger ones, the classic ones made out of rails. And I find looms look great as little HVAC units as well, because they have that kind of a grid pattern that looks like an air vent or something like that. Of course, we've got this railing that goes around the edge of the building. When they clean the glass of the building, they'd have like the little machine that kind of lowers people down to wash the sides of the glass. It kind of goes on a rail at the top to kind of circle around the whole building. So that's what that is. A lot of other buildings that I have in my city here, I've actually tried to implement those, particularly like around over here. You can see if these two buildings here in particular. So that's something that's worth adding to your builds as well. So what I'm quickly going to do, I'm going to jump out of shaders and we're going to go take a nice little quick tour of the interior. We're not going to go too long, I think, because again, it can get a bit repetitive, but I just wanted to kind of show you how I use the space. So this is what the building looks like when we got shaders turned off. I think it still looks pretty damn nice, all things considered. And let's just dive down to the main entrance of the building itself. I am really happy with how this little garden turned out. I think it is probably the best way to go about actually fixing the issue that I did have with this building. So this main entrance here is actually one where there is quite a fair amount of photos of it. So if you go into my previous video, you'll see that in particular this view here exactly is what I replicated here. I think it turned out really good, really accurate to how it looks in real life. Now let's go through here. This whole area I had to completely imagine because there's no documentation of it. I don't know anything about how it would really look in real life. But I've got a little cafe set up here. So I think this is probably one of my favorite parts of this building here. And it came from part of the building where I was actually really confused as to how to go about making it look good. Because basically this is the area under that garden that we have outside. And in real life that would probably be filled with just dirt. But since I was building this building, I actually had an area just of glass here when I was, building it initially. And instead of blocking off this glass, I actually liked the look of that. And I decided to put a big fish tank back here. And I think it works really nicely for this space. So we got this big sort of open space, lots of little benches where you can come and have coffee or whatnot, and this big fish tank. And over here we just got a little open plan coffee place. So this is the coffee machine here, just a bunch of random doohickeys just sitting around here, cash registers, and these I'm really proud of. So if you've seen my previous videos, you'd know that I made some custom maps of little cabinets like these filled with bottles of like beer and Jack Daniels or some sort of alcohol, and I used those to decorate bars and restaurants and places like that around the city. But I realized I wanted some cafes in my city, so I actually modified those to have some designed with cups and plates. So basically, if you guys don't know how custom maps work, so this is a map of like an area, and every little pixel on this is a block. So I had to basically do pixel art in the real Minecraft world and then turn that into a map and then lock the map, and then I carry these around, and whenever I need them I put them up on an item frame. I have these decorative maps, and I'm definitely going to be making more of these, of lots of different things on them. They take a long time, and this pixel art was actually really difficult. Previously, like the bottles that I've done, I actually used some computer programs to convert actual pictures of bottles into pixel art, and then I put that through a different program which converts pixel art into Minecraft blocks, and then I copied that in game. But this, I actually did it from scratch, actually building it and checking the map and then adjusting it, and then yeah, it was really tricky, and especially the rating of the shading on these cups, that was actually quite difficult to do because I didn't have a lot of colors to work with that worked well, so I had to use lots of different techniques by raising blocks and lowering them and checkering different blocks together to get this nice gradient. And I think it turned out really nice. These are really effective just to add a lot of depth to the world, I find. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. And the thing I love about this is because it's technically vanilla Minecraft. Yeah, it's completely not modded. It's all built in-game, and yet I can make my world look very, very customized with this. So I'm not very impressed when people overly use texture packs, because you can get away with doing so much in vanilla Minecraft if you put your mind to it. And you just put the effort in, I guess. Anyway. Here we go. We got the next section in here. Again, I had no idea what to build in here, but basically I put a bunch of like chaotic looking chandeliers up because it was very dark initially. I put this little reception area in here, these little lines we have to wait in here, and just more tables to fill out the area. So just very simple. And in here we got this room here, which is actually based off photos which I'm not 100% sure are of this exact building, but I'm pretty damn sure they are. And they had some kind of cool, weird, artsy looking wall thing like this, as well as this big glass section here, and I tried to replicate that as best I could in-game here. I think it looks nice as like a reception area, vestibule, just a big public space. And of course, if we come around here, we got the elevators, and these go all the way through the building. Of course, they don't work because it's Minecraft. They are there, and I did build them all the way through the building. And finally, since we can't take the elevators, we're going to take the stairs up and explore the first little section up here, which is probably the least furnished, unfortunately. I didn't really bother filling this area out too much. It's pretty much just a dead space in this general section. Over here I did fill it out a little bit, and this is at the top of this big ramp section here, and I did have some reference photos as well of this place. I think it didn't actually have any seats or tables in it in real life, but I did have reference photos kind of this angle showing like the empty space here and what the wall looked like on that side, and just the continuation of this wall here. Around here we've got a few more empty rooms that I'm yet to really do anything with, but I'm probably not going to touch those at all. Some bins. And more of the elevators, which again continue up the building, but we don't have that luxury, so we're gonna have to take the stairs. So more stairs, and of course these stairs are actually positioned in the real position where they would be in the real building. Now, this is the first of those 2 floors that I was telling you guys earlier that the ceilings are really high compared to the rest of the building. So in here, they're just unusually high ceilings. Got some toilets. And let's just skip the rest of this stuff, but go to the main sections here. So yeah, this is that library section, or the big archives of books with some of the research computers around the place. And these are meant to be like little glass display cabinets. Yeah, just basically just trying to fill out the space, which can be really difficult to make it look natural, not over cluttered or not cumbersome, and just have everything looking nice. It can be really difficult and takes a lot of time, I find. Floor above this is basically the same thing as this. I've just tried to make it not as symmetrical as this one, so I've altered it slightly, but I'm going to skip that one in showing you guys. So that'll be this floor. And then we should come up to the first of the normal floors. So let's get a good look here. Got a little utility elevator again, all based on the real plans of the real building. Toilets here at a much more natural height. Yeah, just your basic toilets. These here, these are different colored sections. These are actually the structural pillars that are holding the building together. So you can actually make these out in the walls. And in here, this is the place I was showing you guys from outside with the filing cabinets, all the boxes that they had to unload. I think it looks pretty cool. And the majority of the building is stuff like this, like these little cubicles of research computers that you'd find in sort of a very office type building. Here we have some suspicious red patches on the ground. I'm not going to disclose what those are meant to imply, but I think you guys can figure that out for yourselves. Yep. Here we've got some big presentation rooms. This is meant to be a projector, even though it's a skull, but you get the idea. Projector screen, little lectern where people can give presentations to the board of whatever. More filing cabinets. Here we've got like a boss's kind of room here. This is a real estate company. This is meant to be like a model city here, which I have used in some other areas in my city as well. But I really like these player heads that are building shaped or textured. So I actually thought it would be perfect for a little model city. These are roads. These are cars. Of course, saplings are trees. You get the idea. So, yeah. Lots of bookshelves, just really trying to fill up the area because we don't have enough furniture blocks in Minecraft, I find. I'd really love if they added a few more very sort of specific furniture blocks, but you can really fill out the area just by building your various things. So I'm phrasing things very vaguely. By actually going in and building furniture, but since you're working with really big meter squared blocks, it can be really difficult. This section was kind of hard to furnish and copy and paste up the building for a number of reasons, because I have a specific way that the glass interchanges on the outside of the building, since it's on this weird angle, but I did manage to get it to work. And here we just got, yeah, more sort of more posh offices. This is like a lounge relaxation area. And you have some really nice views of the Matsumoto Castle over there, which is another build that, if you've been following my channel, you guys should be aware of. Yeah, basically the main layout of this section is all the same on every floor. The main difference is these sections. The big rooms here are furnished differently on every floor. At least on a few of them. Again, a lot of it is just copied and pasted all the way up through the building. So if we run up the stairs here, you can see what we have next. We got more library. So I shoved in another library. And over here, I think I got an empty slot. Yes. Now, I wasn't lazy. I mean, I probably was, but I did this on purpose because in my previous video, there's a photo of the interior of this, probably this room here, just a random room in the building, because these would have initially been all empty before anyone established offices in it. And I wanted to actually show you guys that it looks really similar to how that photo looks. So I did this intentionally to actually compare to the real deal building. So my laziness had a purpose there. As you can see, we've got a few different staircases we can take. There's two main staircases that run up the bulk of the building. We'll see what's on this floor. More offices. I tried to vary up the colors, the carpeting as well, to try and give it a little bit of spice. Of course, we've got another lecture area, more projectors, and lots of these little computers where people can work. Again, computers here are just made of player heads, custom player heads, which again, not a mod, technically still vanilla Minecraft. So, but they do add a lot to the game. And yeah, another fancy little office with more projectors, more books. And here we get the first of these interior staircases, and there's a couple of sections of flooring throughout the building in the plans that said these were optional to install. And the idea is if you want to link up two offices really close together, say if the same company or part of a company wanted to have the offices linked up, you'd have those stairs. Yeah, just mainly as glass dividing walls to have it very open plan looking. And I think it turned out really nice. Again, here we got the little display here. I've tried to move it around a little bit whenever I copied and pasted it. In all honesty, guys, I think that is it for this building here. There is some more slight variation as we go up, as you can see, but for the most part, you've pretty much seen the entirety of this building and what it has to offer. It's just basically floors and floors and floors repeating. And with subtle differences all the way up till the very top. Also, yeah, this is meant to be the logo of the building. The actual building has a logo which fits in this exact spot. I think it turned out really well, and I'm really proud of this one. So yeah, here's the top of it again. Yeah, it's a really good addition to this city, I think, and it fits really nicely right here. So let me know what you guys think below, and if this video has helped you in any ways, given you any ideas, do be sure to let me know that too, because that would be really nice to hear. And I hope to see you in one of my future videos. In particular, my next video is I'm going to be showing you guys another update, because I've worked a lot on this general area of the city in particular, building more buildings, detailing things, and just generally working on this city. So stay tuned for all of that, and I'll see you in the next one.